Welcome to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Night. The podcast deals with the early life of yours truly. And now, narrating the second part of First Dance with Mary Jane, Jimi Hendrix. 1:45 a.m. Jim had been trying to watch the news, but CNN has infomercials. And on CNBC, all they're talking about is Judge William Kennedy and his nanny. Disgusted, Jim turns off the TV and asks CJ, the night servant, to make him a pot of strong black coffee. He lights a cigarette and enjoys the evening, and enjoys the morning. 5 a.m. Jim, Cousin Joe, JR, and Betsy are out on the rented pontoon boat in Comite Cove Lake, going fishing. It was to be an exciting time for them. 6:15 p.m. The fish were biting pretty well. JR caught a couple of bass, a crappie, and 3 catfish. Cousin Joe had caught 2 bass and 3 catfish. Betsy had caught 2 bass, and Jim had caught a flounder and 2 bass. There was to be a catfish fry for dinner tonight. 6:25 a.m. Back at Mary Jane, the sprawling 3-building estate in Baton Rouge, Comite Cove. It was named after Mary Jane Anderson, the wife of slave owner turned abolitionist John Anderson, who was elected as a Union congressman for Louisiana in 1862, installed in 1863. An amazing time. Meanwhile, Betsy is having Matilda, the cook, make fried eggs for most of the family, but scrambled eggs for Jim, Cousin Joe, and Claude. 7 a.m. The family at Mary Jane, the family gets together for dinner. "Good morning," Christine said. "So, did the dork catch any fish?" "Count on you to notice," Gerald said. "Christine, can you knock it off calling me or your brother a dork?" "He answered," Christine said. "Christine, you don't have to be so cold," Betsy said. "Now look, I got a meeting at 10 this morning. Duty calls," Jim said. "So that's what you got going on today?" Cousin Joe said. "What about you guys?" "I was thinking about Christine and I can go to the Capitol Park Museum at the gym with the kids. Jay, are you coming?" "I wouldn't miss it for the world," Gerald said. 9:20 a.m. JR's upstairs in his mansion bedroom because Christine got too impatient and left with everybody without JR. He was feeling in a down mood when his mother came in. "Why don't you go with me to pick up Grandma and Uncle Tom at the airport?" "Grandma wants to go to New Orleans to see the tomb of Marie Laveau." "Sounds great," JR said. "Let's go." 10 a.m. At the Baton Rouge airport, Betsy and JR meet Tom and Grandma Elizabeth at the private jet. Since Elizabeth, Betsy, and JR wanted to see the tomb of Marie Laveau in New Orleans, Tom rented a 1984 Buick LeSabre to go back to Mary Jane. And Betsy said that was okay, seeing that Cousin Joe would be there until noon, and then decided to hit the beach. At the same time, at the Hotel La Bourg and Casino in Baton Rouge, Jim is meeting with author and speaker Marlene Dietrich. "Fancy seeing you here today," Jim said. "My husband John, I sent him shopping for jewelry," Marlene said. "Poor John. He doesn't understand I have complicated needs. And my boyfriend Bo, he thinks I'm up in Texas. My wife thinks I'm meeting here on business. But hell, what does it matter? Then what are we waiting for?" "I booked a room." "Then let's get checked in. Grab our things, go upstairs to the room, be together." "That's the best idea I heard all day. Come on." Jim checks into the hotel, and they go into the hotel elevator and embrace. 2:15 p.m. rather. Jim leaves the hotel and gets in his rented Chrysler van to return back to Mary Jane. Meanwhile, at Mary Jane, Ellen, Frank, and cousin Micah arrived at the mansion. Ellen and Frank thought it'd be a good idea to find more activities that the family could do together. In fact, Frank and Jim had an idea of having the family go on a boat ride. 3:20 p.m. Frank and the kids are in the boat as Jim uses the Chrysler van to launch the boat into the water and then meet them at the docks. 6 p.m. They arrive at the fish fry for dinner. Blake Carter was there and suggested that they go on a boat ride. "Might as well count me out," Christine said. "Me too," Betsy said. "Me also," Grandma Elizabeth said. 17 minus 4, that's 13, Uncle Tom said. "But I want to sit next to my nephew, JR. 6:45 p.m. The family goes on a hour and a half boat ride through the Mississippi River. Everyone on the boat is having a wonderful time. 8 p.m. Jim checks into the hotel to be back with Marlene Dietrich. Marlene had sent John on a specialty ship to go deep sea fishing all night. Hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Night. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of the adventure. It's J.R. Hendrick saying until next time, get ready for the rest of the story. It's pretty interesting from here.